It's like very, very crash course. And then when, like you guys want to present and we need to be able to have that viewable to everybody too. Like it just throws another wrench into it. And
We need to move to a fixed camera system like the county has.
yeah, I think Keith and
So-
Adam were talking about that today a little bit.
Yeah.
And part of the problem is Adam didn't realize we were out of USB ports because that's the simplest way to do it. Just plug the USB in there and be able to
Yeah.
You can get a
view
little
everywhere.
adapter.
Yeah,
that
that's
has
what, yeah, we're gonna get more, yeah.
Do you need more USB ports? Because I have some that would plug right into that right
I
now.
don't know how they have it going. Adam and
I'd
Keith.
say I have mine on a
Yeah.
USB if that makes it easier.
Well, if we need a port, I've got one, so we could throw that on there real quick, so. As our past meeting, I went back and I watched the meeting to see what happened in the meeting before, and none of the audio works. And I went back and kept going through all the other meetings, and none of them, no audio.
Did something right?
I don't think we figured out what the issue was either, so,
Yeah.
yeah, well, it's silent.
So good to go?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, Keith.
Party started. Well, let's call this meeting to order of the Town of Bremen Redevelopment Commission. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting on November 12th. I think everybody has a copy of it.
Well, no, wait a second, I've got 3 sets of minutes for you to approve tonight. I'd want you to do each one individually.
Okay.
November 12 is an executive session, that one's real simple, and October 1 had an executive session, and then October 1 minutes, I think those were circulated quite some time ago, but those are regular full meeting minutes, so.
Okay, the executive session
So-
meetings need to be approved
Yeah,
as
we're
well?
gonna do, so 1 regular meeting on October 1, 1 executive session on October 1, 1 executive session on November 12.
Okay,
So,
we'll go back to front then here. All right, so the first item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes of the executive session on October 1st, which everybody has a copy of, I think.
October 1st?
Yeah, it's all the way in the back. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I motion to approve the minutes from October 1st.
I second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting on October 1st?
I motion to approve the minutes on October 1st.
Did we just do that?
That was the executive session.
Oh,
This
there's
is
2
the actual-
meetings, yeah.
Okay.
This is the actual public meeting. Do I have a second?
I second
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
it. Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Then the November 12 executive session.
Right. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the executive session from November 12th?
I motion to approve the minutes from November 12th.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. Minutes are approved. Yeah, so, yeah,
Change the agenda.
yeah, do you want to make a motion for that?
I motion to deviate from the current schedule of the agenda to putting Bremen Community Cares first.
I second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Okay, Bremen Community Cares, you're bumped to the top of the agenda here, so. Okay. Floor is yours.
Do you have our presentation for?
It's in there somewhere.
That's that one.
I don't know how to find it on here, though.
This one. I put on the TV too.
I can find it on there. It'll kill it.
That's the old one. That's the old one. The logo.
Yeah, can I give you my flash drive? Because that's the old one.
Is it? Okay. Well, if you emailed it to this, we should be able to get it on here. So give me a second. Oops, not what I want to do.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So I can see better.
All right, well, we'll get started. Do I have to announce who I am? I guess. Matt Van Soest, President of Bremen Community Cares.
Amber Reed.
And if you recall, Leadership Marshall County, the class of 2024, partnered with nonprofits or service groups and project groups, explored passion projects, and they went through about a nine-month process to work together as a team. And Amber's group focused on business, incubator space, entrepreneurship, and they were required to partner with a local nonprofit to kind of basically guide them through that process, and then ultimately to have a nonprofit kind of take those ideas to the next step. And I do think that we're probably one of the only teams of last year that are pushing this forward. So I think that's very exciting. But yeah, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the village shops. We introduced this project several months ago, and since then we have done our due diligence with the design process. We've gotten competitive quotes. We've really honed in on the kind of the nuts and bolts in regards to the phasing and the pricing, and just wanted to kind of share where we're at in this process.
So just to kind of recap, the whole purpose of this is to provide a retail experience for businesses that are ready to kind of take on that challenge of testing to see, do I have a viable idea, and putting that into a brick and mortar. You're going to see later on, we kind of have two phases of the village. So phase one would consist of putting 5 or 6, depending on a restroom, 12 by 12 shops that have a nominal cost to rent for a season, because that really is one of the hindrances for small businesses. When you can find a storefront, can we even afford it? On top of insurance, utilities, and everything else. And so we really want to make this an affordable venture for these businesses. Along with that, providing educational workshops, one-on-one support. With that fee, it would also include membership with the Chamber of Commerce so that they can have that mentorship with an existing business. And just more help that we can provide those vendors to be able to succeed beyond the actual shops. So again, our mission and vision, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship by providing a supportive environment where local ventures are empowered to enhance economic growth in the spirit of creativity in Bremen. Our vision is to provide a mentorship environment that builds economic growth in Bremen. So my group really focused on economic growth. And one of the big things, we wanted to create something that would be able to be repeated and replicable in other surrounding Marshall County towns. And I think with our idea, that's going to be able to happen. We focus too a lot on the mentorship, because a lot of these individuals, being a small business owner, they don't necessarily know all the questions to ask. They don't know the people, the networking to go through if they do decide to move forward with the business. And so we really want to be able to provide that mentorship piece to help them be successful from the start. So location would be the parking lot, and at our last presentation, you guys did grant us permission to use that lot. The picture on the left is, some of you don't even remember this, but that was my dad's self-service or full-service station as a kid. So being able to use the lot that was once owned by my family is very meaningful for me.
When we look at the kind of the existing conditions of retail and shopping and just what's possibly available, I think the town has done an amazing job with the streetscapes, the facades, the Jackson Street. All of those design qualities are coming together, and I think when you see Olive and Company and those sort of things in business for a year, or the cupcake shop and that sort of thing, and Bremen Community Cares, along with the chamber, obviously checks in from time to time, and the success is there. And so I think that shows how healthy our downtown is. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of spaces left if we want to really push the retail limit or to the next step. We have on the south side one vacant building. There's no interest in renting that out. We do have some underutilized space, possibly in the History Center, the front couple rooms, obviously with it being a street corner. There's some underutilized space next to Naco's restaurant, but we've had discussion with them and they're looking, between $800 and $1,200 just for a small little space. And that's monthly rent. So we're talking major dollars for somebody, again, trying to get that bricks and mortar scene. And then the only other available building, obviously, is on the market right now, and that's probably going to be more restaurant type. Going back to our comprehensive plan that our town did in 2014, obviously through Ball State, the long-term vision is obviously a building on that site. And again, that could be 10, 15, 20 years from now. But one of the interesting recommendations that the Redevelopment Commission, as well as Ball State, was trying to provide space for kind of this maker movement of retail, entrepreneurship, innovators. Obviously, I think we have a good success rate with the Arts Collective on the west side of town. But how do you get that into our downtown is kind of the main focus of this project. Amber obviously did her due diligence in the summer and visited both of these shopping districts, and you can speak a little bit about how this is kind of an upward trend in small communities.
Yeah, my family and I went to McHenry. I had heard about McHenry from a fellow entrepreneurship teacher a few years back, and when you go there, it kind of takes your breath away because it's like, how do I bring this to my town? How do I bring this feel to my town? It has a very Chip and Joanna Gaines feel, which is what everybody kind of likes. Both of these towns have obviously a much larger population than Bremen. I understand that. McHenry is right on the river, and it's beautiful. It's very inviting. They have a big amphitheater area. They have a splash pad. They have really nice restrooms, and it just looks very pretty. We didn't know about Batavia until we visited McHenry. Batavia is about 30, 40 miles away. Same concept, a little bit different look and a different feel, but the potential for sales, McHenry's first year sales were roughly $500,000 just from these shops. And they're open, both of them kind of run the same process. They're open from roughly the end of May through the middle of December. So when you apply, you get that shop for that time period, and then the application process would start again. So those businesses, essentially we would want them to phase out of the sheds. The purpose would be to every season bring 5 to 10 new businesses in. So they can reapply if they want, but that doesn't guarantee that they're going to have the opportunity to be a shop owner. It is a cool concept, and if you've never been to one, I highly suggest. I know, Mike, where was the town that you went to?
Utica, Illinois.
Yeah.
And I like, that was amazing. Of course, I had to poke because I thought Bremen instantly, and I was able to talk to a town council member and a few people that are involved in politics in the town, and they said this is the best thing they've ever done. It was truly, it worked so well for the community, and it was vibrant. I was amazed, actually.
And they're very
It's a great
inviting. The
idea.
day that we were there was the end of May. The doors were all open. Every single shop owner that we talked to, the one guy at McHenry, we probably stood there for over an hour. And he just gave me feedback after feedback. Same thing when we went to Batavia. They have a kind of a different feel in what they do there. But to bring this to Bremen, I know from my small business, I would love to have this opportunity because I can't afford, and nor do I really want to quit my job, to run this full time. But with the hours that we have set, this would make somebody like me, who I would say I'm more of your typical small business owner that really wants to test this market, to keep them in our town. And that's essentially what we want to do. I have a booth at Coppice Commons and I do really well there, but this is my town and this is where I want to be. And so I'm not opposed either to opening up to outside of Bremen to allow other people to bring this, open up a storefront. It's not going to just be only Bremen residents can apply for a storefront. Yeah, move on to the next slide.
Just if you go back, if you go back one slide,
I don't know how to do that.
It's really finicky.
Yeah, it's really finicky.
Okay.
Sorry.
So if you can, we're trying, when you start thinking about this, you're like, well, it's just like Goodwill sheds on a piece of asphalt. Well, there's gonna be a lot more to that because we're trying to create an outdoor environment. If you kind of go back to McHenry or Batavia, what they did with the sitescapes, the potted plants, maybe the trees in pots or even the string lights. This concept, we're showing 10 or 11 sheds, structures that are on the far west side of this parking lot. And one of the things that we try to do is we angled 3 of them so that as you're coming from the east-west, you kind of see this village. And it's really kind of creating an enclosed plaza. We looked at a design where they were 5 or 6 on the west and 5 or 6 on the north, but with obviously parking in the middle. But that, again, that's not one of those sites that we want in regards to being all spread out. If you walk down this long boardwalk, you kind of came to a dead end. Whereas this design, you kind of loop around. It's close to the downtown infrastructure. Some of the improvements that Bud's is taking place with the outdoor patio space and that sort of thing. So it's creating a really kind of unique enclosed environment for the people that love cars and car parking. We've actually gained 1 space from what we have now. So if we turn the parking at a 90-degree angle, provide the 9x20 spaces as well as 24, 25 feet aisles, we kind of put all the parking to the east. Again, just kind of the idea of, obviously it's a parking lot for the town, we're providing that, but then we're also basically creating this really enclosed village. Still some concerns of parking along the west, right here, how close that is, but is that parking bumpers, we have to really understand how the two can kind of be married on the same site. But yeah, we're creating a really unique environment. I think on the next slide, we start to show some renderings of that space. So we have designed these structures, and we've put it out to bid. And the next slide, we don't go to that quite yet.
Oh, tell me next slide.
You can kind of get the feel for that, but
Sorry.
so yeah, these sheds are all kind of internal facing with brick pavers. So obviously there's asphalt there now. These sheds that are movable in nature, obviously are raised off the ground with 5 or 6x6s. So we need to figure out how to bring the elevation of some type of walking surface up to that plane, because the other case studies you basically roll right in for ADA purposes. Is there a section of asphalt that could be cut out for some lawn space or for just some soft seating areas? But again, doing our due diligence, we really just kind of looked at some builders that do this every day, right? We said, well, maybe Ken Kuntz could build this for $10, but he's old. I don't want to build. I'm still working on the old community center, but.
Well, we started with, my husband actually
Right.
priced out what it was cost, because I think when we presented the first time, we talked about having volunteers and
Right.
all of that, but we're in crunch time.
Possibly using like the parks. Storage buildings in winter to build them, but with building codes and permitting.
My
we
builder
figured
husband said, go with the pre-built from the
pre-built,
shed company.
and we come in and finish them out. So as you can see, Sunrise Structures, obviously, they're just north of Bourbon on 331. They had the most comprehensive bid and with actually 3D renderings and that sort of thing, but you can kind of see that these were ranging anywhere between, you know, 10,000 and 23,000. But basically, they would build them at their place, bring them to Bremen, and then we would outfit them with lighting, power, mini split, mechanicals, so these structures would have heating and cooling, insulation, and then how do we start to partner with the service groups or Bremen High School and doing some of the like, kind of finish work, right? The light stuff that's not going to take tons of thought to it, but just kind of that finish work and how we can make that a partnership. So we're finding that each of these sheds is about approximately $20,000 in cost with the windows, the doors, the overbuild, the columns, the overhang.
Now I can go to the next
Yeah,
slide?
We'll give you
Okay.
the, we'll give you the shot there.
So our timeline, I already have the application created. It is ready to go once we get kind of the okay. So just starting December 1st, applications would be announced. We would start to have our project meetings, marketing, all of that, with the cutoff for the applications being January 15th, January 16th to February 19th. So how these other places do it is they have a small panel that approves or denies these. And they require that every proposal has a business plan, and the shop owner has to come in and present their business plan in person, which I love, being the entrepreneurship teacher. I think it's great. So that would give us approximately a month to hold those interviews, look over the business plans. A decision would be made. The 5 or 6 shop owners would be contacted between February 20th and March 1st. From March to May then, we would give the okay for the sheds to start being built. They're about 6 weeks out right now, and so that would give them plenty of time to have those delivered. My proposal would be to have it actually open Memorial Day weekend, but if not, I would love to have it be the week of the Bremen Fair, because everybody's already going to be up there for the parade. It's going to be visible, and that would be a great opportunity to really highlight and showcase this.
I think when we look at time frame, you know, obviously we looked at case studies, you visited them, the population's obviously 28, 30,000. So, you know, I think we'll find out if Northern Indiana or the town of Bremen is ready for this concept, probably first quarter of 2026, right? We're not looking to spend money, we're not looking to get these sheds built if this thing's only gonna have 1 or 2 people, right? So I think it's our due diligence period here in the next several months after the holidays is to really see who's on board and who's really serious about taking this year commitment, and then we move forward. Next slide.
So as far as the application would be open to any startup that wants to try out this concept. Online home-based businesses who kind of want to test out the brand. If you are an existing business in a surrounding area, so at one of our Leadership Marshall County, the owner of South Bend Chocolate Company came up, and Matt had asked me, he's like, so what if South Bend Chocolate Company decided they wanted to open up a shed? Perfect. If we have one available, they're going to go through the same exact process of applying, interviewing, all of that. And it's just really testing this Bremen market. All vendors have to have an EIN number and pay sales tax, because we want to make sure that they are in business and that they are wanting to actually move forward. No direct sales, nothing like that. MLMs would not be accepted. The hours of operation, the rest of this is just kind of, we've thrown this out there. It's not set in stone. But running either end of May or beginning of June through the 2nd or 3rd week of December. The shop owners would be required to be open every Saturday and Sunday. So if you can't be there, your store has to be open. So you would have to pay somebody to come and work it. I would also love to implement First Fridays in Bremen. And I know there's been talk about that in the past, but the way that the parking lot is laid out, where the sheds are laid out, it would allow us to bring other vendors in for a fee, food trucks in, have live entertainment, and really make our downtown area alive one Friday a month. And so the stores would be required for those hours and those times. If the store owner wants to be open every single Monday, then they can be. So the rest of the hours, it's up to them. but they would be required for those days and times.
Yeah, I think that $2,500 a season, I mean, that's a little more than $200 a month, and you cannot find that anywhere. Again, when we look back at the $800 to $1,200 a month, plus utilities, it's quite honestly, it's a steal. And then that money then goes back into the program, as well as obviously covering utility costs, insurance costs that Bremen Community Cares would oversee all that. So there's a lot of nuts and bolts we have to figure out with electric department, utilities, and who's responsible for what part of the parking lot. You know, obviously separating parking in this structure, obviously with snow removal, and you know who's responsible for doing our sidewalks. I mean, that's all logistical stuff that will have to be figured out. But yeah, as you mentioned, that these are kind of the technicalities of the process as well as the application.
McHenry, they have a very, very active Facebook page, and you can go on. They are constantly having events there. They had a wine tour the one night. They had like a Christmas festival. They had there was like a St. Patty's Day. So there were even events going on up there when the shops weren't actually open. And so making this an opportunity for our downtown area to have some livelihood a couple times a month. You know, we even threw out the idea about having a fundraising gala and bringing a big white tent and putting it on site and doing things like that. So we want it to be a usable piece of land that is really bringing economic growth to our town.
I think when we look back at Jackson Street, obviously with that project, with the farmers market and some of the events that we have there, this isn't really competing, more so it's just providing another space within our downtown, especially on kind of this part of downtown, to re-engage and again see a parking lot that maybe only has 6 or 7 trucks or cars there per day. I know that sometimes it is very full, but really just to kind of engage that parking lot and provide these other opportunities. The last slide, obviously the price tag, and again, I think the biggest word that we want to focus on is this idea of allocation. Very similar to the facade program that Bremen Community Cares has, the redevelopment commission had allocated funds that goes into basically a pool of money so that when businesses are interested in seeing a facade program, Fred Anderson, our treasurer, basically has that money set aside for that specifically, right? So anytime we have a facade, that is a drawdown. And just quickly update on that, Pooples has finished their first phase. The drawdown will happen, and then he's coming back in spring to do actually another, all the metal restoration thing. So it's very exciting to see that process work. And again, it's very similar to how we would envision the RDC taking this, is that we're thinking that both phases are going to be roughly $350,000, again, with phase 1 being 5 sheds, that elevated walkway with those pavers, signage, landscaping, the bathroom, the restroom concept, which is required a code to provide that. That is probably something that we're really struggling to understand. Is it those really nice portables like you see at Round Barn Winery that are brought in for events? We don't really want porta johns. We also don't want, some of the bars using them after hours, so vandalism and just all the mess that's associated with that. But that's probably something that we're really trying to understand a little bit.
The layout, if you notice the 5 sheds on the west, there was a shed on the north side. We had allocated that could be a possible location for an actual bathroom, and it would only be open while the shops were open. So whoever would have to come up there and open up the restroom. Yes, for patrons, but mostly it's for the employees that are working in the sheds as well, that we would provide a space for that.
Phase 2 would obviously be the 5 additional sheds. This project has been submitted as a possible project for One Marshall County, being focus groups that are kind of more at the county, regional level. We haven't heard anything back from that. Obviously, we haven't done any type of capital campaign or sponsorship. We have had a lot of buy-in from Softwire, from Tyler's, just trying to get a little bit more industry involved. But when it's all said and done, once we start really selling that this has a possible green light, we could really start raising some funds there. And then obviously at the end of the day, I think, as a designer specifically, if this thing really was to tank, who's responsible for 10 sheds that are vacant or the pavers? Obviously, I think pavers could go to the park system. Obviously, we could all have really nice she sheds or man sheds out of it, but the idea is that, I think you could possibly resell those if, again, something was to go really wrong, but I think that due diligence period within the first quarter of 2026 will really tell if this thing has a lot of takeoff. And that's why we're really not pushing until we know that for sure. But I think, personally, I think it has really, really good grounds to succeed. But again, you always have to think about the what if, right? With the dollar amount that we're asking for some allocation here for the next several years. That is all that we want to present on, and we'll take some question and answers. Looks like you might be able to go back to a couple of those
Oh, yeah,
slides
I can,
that
sorry.
had some of those pretty pictures, if somebody had to reference that.
I know this is your.
So basically, 350, that's for phase 1 and 2 estimate.
Yep.
And that's basically, you're asking for seed money. And I think it's a win-win situation. Because I've seen it firsthand, community involvement in other communities with this. And it's a great utilization for that space that we purchased. We never really intended to buy that as a parking lot. We intended to buy that to be used somehow, developed somehow. So, plus it's an opportunity for you to gain income for your organization. I mean, the rentals, this is money that can go into your coffers as far as to do other things for the community. So that, this is long-term, a win-win I think for the community in general. I support it. I think it's a wonderful idea, and I think we're actually blessed that we have your organization that's willing to do the footwork on this. That's my sense.
I think trying to keep it as not temporary, but I think you have to use that word temporary, right? Because there's, maybe a developer, I know there's a few developers that have expressed interest, like, what could this blank slate be? Could it be a 2 to 3 story building that's mixed use with downtown living, that sort of thing? So how we could basically make an impact, but if we had to switch gears and move it somewhere else, it's very kind of fluid and flexible in that regard. So it's not like we're digging foundations, and obviously the utilities will have to figure out how to run electric, but it's something that could easily be moved, replicated, and that sort of thing. So with the pavers, obviously.
Being somebody that has lived in Bremen their whole life, I have heard time and time again, we want people to come to Bremen. We want you to spend your money in Bremen. We want to keep you here, right? We want to keep our money here. And I'm tired of going outside of Bremen to shop. The holidays are coming, and yeah, I have Olive & Co., but I have 2 boys. So I think with this, you are bringing possibly 10 new businesses to the downtown area. That is also going to drive business for our other local businesses. So somebody's going to come here for a Saturday, they're going to want to eat somewhere. They're want to go get ice cream. They're going to find out more about the Bremen Theater. We have these other businesses that this is really going to support as well. Mm-hmm. But the opportunity to bring 10 new business ideas to our area, I think is huge. And to keep us from going to outside communities to take our business elsewhere as well.
And I think too, the spirit of entrepreneurship, right? Just that yes, it is a building, but it's also that hand-holding and the guidance through with the chamber, as well as the teaching tools that people that, you have 18 or 25-year-olds that have a great idea, or they're artists, they just don't know where to start. And they also see a price tag of $800 a month, or a building that needs $40,000 worth of work, like the Jimenez's had to deal with the Olive & Company. That's obviously a big price tag right when you're trying to start a venture.
Do you think the 350 gets you to that point right there without any other supplemental funding from corporate sponsorships or whatever grants you might get? If you had the full 350, do you think that gets you to that point?
I believe so, because the $200,000 would take care of the sheds, and then the other 150 obviously is all the site improvements. You know, obviously this, other communities have done like a 50-50 match where you're required as a nonprofit or a group to try and find other funds, and then obviously the RDC or other economic groups would pitch in kind of matching funds. So I do think at the end of the day that the 350 would cover us, but I think we want to work hard and gain those sponsorships, gain that grant money through either the foundation or these other groups in the county. So I think just doing the 5 or 6, obviously we're not going to ask for the 350 right away, right? It's going to be whatever that prorate price tag is. But as Amber mentioned, is it the 5 sheds on the west, or is it just kind of the grouping here close to the road to kind of create that really cool environment right along Plymouth Street? I think that's yet to be determined. I think it all, with a discussion with the town utilities, electric utilities groups, we just really need to figure out what's that best method.
So how
One
much-
thing that a lot of the shop owners that we talked to said, because I said, oh, maybe we could do 3 or 4, and they said, you need to start with more than that, because you need to give a reason for people to want to come here. And so if you only have 3 or 4 shops, that's not going to do it. Ideally, I would love to start with 6, because I think 6 would be a little bit better of a number. But
So how much are you asking for right now, as far as just to get this thing started? I mean, are you asking for the whole thing, 350? I mean,
I think if you could earmark it, and then we go through the application process and say, you know, if we have 10 people that come back, and then we say, we need to do 6 from the start, I think that's gonna help us determine how many is actually needed. My hope would be we have 30 applicants, and this is sustained long-term, and every year that we have the 6 that are already currently there wanting to reapply. Plus getting, you know, once word gets out about this, I've been racking my brain on different people to contact to start sending the application to as soon as we get the okay.
Yeah, I think obviously too, like just trying to gain public engagement on this, right? Obviously, Bremen Community Cares runs the farmers market, and just, you know, you're there once a week, every Wednesday, and you come back, and it's, you know, is it possibly the same vendors? And I think there's a little bit less enthusiasm about that, right? So I think the bigger question that I still have is Bremen ready for this type of large-scale permanency type retail type maker thing? Again, as an urban designer, just seeing how things have taken place with the organization altogether. So
moving forward, I guess right now you just want to go out there and find out what, before you get any money, just find out the potential.
Knowing that we have the funds so that we can move forward and we get those applications going, and then we can come to you and say, look, this is where we're at.
Okay.
We need to now order the 6 sheds.
I think it would be important for you to have at least your first buildings funded so that you can be taken seriously when you're having those conversations.
Right.
That it's not just speculative, it's actually.
And that's why Matt asked me the other day, he's like, so how many people have you talked to? And I said, I haven't, because I don't want to get somebody's hopes up.
Yeah.
Right? I've shared it with people close to me and who share my entrepreneurial vision, but I haven't advertised.
So you're asking for a commitment from us financially, and then you do your thing,
Yep.
put your feelers out, and then we'll go from there. Makes sense.
I know you mentioned the bathroom situation, but can you clarify that? Like, is there going to be a bathroom, or is there going to not be a bathroom? 'Cause I think that could be an issue.
yeah, I think we're going to be required to have a bathroom. Where and how to accomplish that? Again, is it a portable, like you see at Round Barn Winery, or is it an actual somewhere an adjacent building that is providing one that's on the outside? Or again, are we, you know, obviously haven't studied all the utilities, but that north alley is that northwest alley, hopefully, where we have electric and water coming in. Obviously, there was a building there at some point, so any type of disconnect. But yeah, that's, we're kind of, as Amber mentioned, is that kind of structure all the way on the north would be kind of the allocated area for restroom slash storage building. Or maybe the front half of that is just kind of almost like a little presentation area if there was like just a band that wanted to come and play music and that sort of thing at the end of this little plaza. So I think we're going to have to assume that we're going to be required to have one, and we need to plan for one.
Batavia had a handicap accessible porta potty, and it was out in the middle of it all, and it was an eyesore. And I don't want that. I don't want to have these beautiful sheds in this beautiful softscape area and have a porta-john sitting there. I think ultimately we would love to have an actual bathroom that looks like one of the sheds.
I think like a constructed bathroom there is actually a mistake. Doesn't the company, I think they're an Argus American, they make exactly what Matt's talking about, and I think you could get something in, and that's something portable, because we had someone come in and ask, could we put a bathroom there, but it was basically for use of the bar. And the town doesn't want the expense of maintaining that. So something that's portable and secure, I think would be good. I think what I would actually tell you to do is, we probably need to have a conversation with the town, though. This is your lot, but the town has put some money into repaving it. But I'm more interested in hearing from the utilities on how they would approach this, if you haven't had that conversation already. I've already had, don't have anything to do with this, and I've had somebody ask me about it. So I think there is interest in it. But some of the logistical stuff about, can we get the utilities there reasonably, and how much are we gonna have to tear up to do it, I think needs to be answered, just to get that.
And the place I saw in Utica, they ran the utilities underneath the sheds. They built the sheds on a platform, and they ran all that underneath there. So
Yeah.
if you ever have to clear everything out, it's just a matter of clearing all the wire,
Yeah.
So none of it was buried in it.
But the
so.
sooner we get that worked out
Sure.
with them, the better. But the other thing, that it's not in front of this body, but Keith and Tara are working on a door right now. If you've read about that anywhere, but it stands for a designated outdoor refreshment area. And essentially, think of the Riverwalk up in Mishawaka. You can move alcohol around outside. You buy it at Sun King, and you can walk outside and take it someplace else. You can. So.
Hence my first Fridays.
Exactly, no, it dovetails with that, because it's not just limited to this parking lot. It runs all the way down to Jackson Street, like the way it's been kicked around, all the way over here. It's the whole area. So, this would be something that would certainly drive that. It would drive traffic downtown, I think, and we'd be able to use it to dovetail. Frankly, if you've got Oktoberfest going on over here, you can have something going on here, and it starts to move it away, not entirely from the Jackson Street Pavilion area, but to just make it more than just located there. It could be across blocks, and the businesses downtown, I think, really would benefit from that. So this would just dovetail very nicely with that project, which probably will be getting up off the ground at the same time. It'd actually make me want to make sure that it was running kind of alongside. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done on that, and Keith knows more about it than me, but it seems like it's been positively received. Very. But this would actually make it a lot better. It would be an improvement for the door concept, for sure.
And that's relatively inexpensive for what you're getting out of this, for the most part. I mean, it's a great opportunity for the community to gather in one spot for the most part.
I think there are some details that would need to be worked out, like who actually owns the sheds.
I'm assuming it'd be them guys.
Well, but if they turn around and get sold, what happens to those funds? So I'm not saying that's a reason to say no to this. I'm just saying those are details that need to be thought through.
I mean, $350,000 is a lot to pick up and move, and there it goes. And defeats our purpose. But I don't think that's gonna happen, I'm just saying,
Right,
to be responsible.
And I would like to see any funds that it generates, not necessarily, and this is no disrespect to BCC at all, because I love you guys, but I'd like to make sure it goes back into making the program self-sustaining if at all possible. So as much as I love BCC's other programs, this money doesn't need to go into the facade grant fund, like we can fund that separately.
Sure.
So if there was a way to make it self-sustaining, that'd be fantastic. So yeah, I think there's just some details that would need to be worked out, but nothing that would not be possible to work out at all.
I support it, 100%. That's just me.
Yeah, I agree. Are we able to table a vote on the actual allocation of the funds pending review by the town do we need a motion of support in any way to say?
The timing is kind of good, because we need to develop our fiscal plan for next year. And what we're gonna have and what we're gonna spend.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about that in some of the agenda items tonight, so, I would tell you, like essentially you're gonna take this under advisement effectively and then start to figure out how to incorporate that into the plan to spend that money next year. I don't have the ability off the top of my head, and I'm not sure you do either, to say this money is or isn't available. My expectation is it probably is.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have Baker Tilly come back and say that for certain.
Yeah.
So, but we're literally talking about that fiscal plan, which is how are we gonna spend money next year. So the time's right to factor this into that.
Okay. Is there room for, do we need to make a motion of support of any kind? I mean, without actually allocating the funds, is it necessary to make a commitment of some type to the project without having it fully vetted by the other parties that are interested?
I don't think you necessarily need a vote for that. I think you could basically ask Amber and Matt to work with Keith and getting the utility heads together to figure out how would this look. I guess if you're looking at potentially like 200 to get it off the ground, I think that's a pretty easy commitment. Like we should have that funding.
Yeah.
But
I'd like them to be able to move forward with some confidence that they've got
I don't
our
want to go
support
and,
without,
yeah.
I mean,
Send
that's
out
what they're looking for, is to be able
applications
to tell people that there are funds committed so that these sheds, that this is not just an if, and, or but right now, there's some kind of funding for it. I don't know if we have the ability with the budget information that we've got to commit to half of that amount or enough to get the sheds a $200,000 allocation, without having the budget fully vetted.
Like, can we just say to you guys, this is a great concept, but now have another meeting at a later when you can get more of the specifics, specific costs, specific commitments, possible vendors, and just kind of get more specific with the cost instead of just a roundabout. That way we can, but you still have we'll make our commitment that it's a good idea and we're committed to it, but.
I think there's enough detail on the sheds. Maybe, like, how much have you priced out the site work?
We have not done that.
Okay,
No.
and that'd be the part that I would wanna know more about, and that's where the department heads, they may actually have some ideas to say, it'd be easier to do it this way, maybe save some money. But I guess what I would encourage you to do, I mean, you can do a vote if you want, but essentially you can tell them, hey, we are going to factor this project into our spending plan for next year.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to give them something that they can take back to say, there's a commitment without knowing exactly how much we have to allocate. At least we're committed to finding those funds if we can. I don't know how we do that without a vote other than to say that.
Shake on it, old school.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an official
Is that
That's just it.
350,000, is that just the sheds, or does that include pavers and the parking lot being reoriented?
That was figuring everything.
Okay,
Because if each shed is around $20,000, right? So doing the math, approximately $200,000 if we did 10 sheds. So that
and that
additional.
finishes out the insides and puts in
Correct, because
the,
we're
Matt
thinking
had
that.
priced out
Okay.
what it would cost to actually build one from scratch.
Right.
But like I said, to try and get the labor force to come in
Right.
and in the middle of winter, if we were in the summer, I had talked to Brian about using the whole buildings and got approval for that. But again, this is just gonna be, we know for certain that they are built to our specs. They are all alike. They're done correctly, not that I don't trust everybody, but it's the finished deal.
Yeah.
And Sunrise Structures had indicated that obviously if you buy in bulk, that price goes down. So that 15.9, or it was a very detailed line item, that number would come down because they would do 6 of them at the same time, so that cost would come down. But yeah, that 20,000 includes the additional stuff that we need to do with licensed electrician, Tyler's plumbing, heating with the mini split, finished ceilings, the walls, and that sort of thing.
But I think you wanna know, like, I'd be pricing out 6 sheds, what's the bathroom gonna cost? And then what's the site work? And then if you have the ability to fund another 5 to 6 or whatever it's gonna be, space-wise, I mean, whatever you have room for, then can you do that all at once? And if you can, great. But I would wanna know just those 2 components at a minimum, I guess 3 if you count the bathroom as a separate one. Sheds, bathroom, site work, if you could make that number, you know, clear, that would make it easier for them. And I have a feeling you're gonna be able to say, we can pay for it all at once, actually, and that's great. But we're talking about some expenses for ready, that's the part of the resolution, is how much money we're throwing at some of that stuff. There's still this looming fire engine that haunts my dreams. There's gonna be some stuff that needs to be, so if it's something you can spread out over a couple years, well, that may be appealing. So,
In phase 2, our goal would, that would be for the second year.
okay.
So phase 1 is just to get it underway, because I don't want to build 12 sheds and have 5 people apply.
Right, yeah.
Can I find 6? I think I can.
But if you have 30 and the funds were available, I mean, I get the sense that you guys wouldn't necessarily say no either.
If we had the funds and we could do it?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't turn them away.
Would it be appropriate to make a motion to,
How about you just say move forward?
to move forward with?
You're gonna investigate
Yeah.
funding and you guys are gonna investigate that kind of phase 1 specific cost.
More interested really is, or you got interest in people wanting to rent those sheds out and do a business. That's, without that, none of this works, so.
Right.
Okay,
Go ahead, buddy.
yeah. Okay, so do we have a motion to, for further investigation into this project with Bremen Community Cares? And potential funding through the RDC.
I motion to further investigate, partnering, well, not partnering, but working with the community cares and finding the funds.
Got that written
Did I
down?
got that right?
Perfect. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for coming. It's exciting.
Thanks for all your hard work, too.
All the fun stuff.
So minimize it. I messed it up, sorry.
That's all right. Do we think it's running? Can I just keep going or?
It's running, I just,
All right, then I'm gonna keep going. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we wait for Mike to get back?
Sorry.
No, you're good. So, we need to make the tech work anyway. I'm 45 minutes past my allocation. So that's all the question. Thank you. No, I think that's fine.
Me too.
Like you got in trouble with spouses.
What's that? Extra. Some more stuff.
Huh. LB, we're gonna have to get you reappointed here pretty quick.
Oh, is it coming up
Yeah.
already? Wow.
What?
Reappoint,
Time flies.
12/31/25. Oh, yeah.
It's all right. Boy, this is going, we'll meet 4 or 5 more times before Christmas.
Really? That's great.
Not 4 or 5, but not
Maybe
too
not.
much. I
We could shut the door.
take the under still, but I wouldn't set the over at 1.
I was thinking Erica too. I was like, oh, look, Erica. But no, that's, I guess I'm not.
It's weird that
Did you just get reappointed?
Tony's term and hers are staggered differently. I'm not sure how that happened, so. All right, if everybody's back, just a couple things to go through. There's a scope of work, an agreement with Baker Tilly. We actually have 2 different things that they're gonna be working on for us, but this one is specifically to run the TIF analysis, or the analysis of the TIF maybe is the better way to say it, for the Third Road property. So there is more work on what the design actually is going to look at to make that work. And I don't know, Sean, what kind of range they can deal with in terms of what gets built in the TIF. But I don't think that the single-family homes are necessarily going to make a huge difference with that. It's the other types. So, but essentially Baker Tilly is going to do the analysis. It's going to help show how much the TIF will generate. And we need to understand that in order to basically reach an appropriate agreement. So we would ask you to approve this this agreement to hire Baker Tilly to perform that analysis for us.
Okay. Do we have a motion for the approval of the agreement for Baker Tilly to complete the TIF analysis of the Third Road property? Okay.
So we're, wait a minute, so we're hiring Baker Tilly to do, I thought we already did all this, okay?
We talked about it.
No.
I must not been here. I wasn't-
Yeah, no, this is just, someone needs to figure out if the TIF will generate enough money to support the cost of the infrastructure.
Okay.
So, and that's essentially what they're gonna do.
Gotcha.
Am I saying that right, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a new development, so it's looking at the projected TIF from that new development.
Okay,
Is this something we've already asked them to do, or is this a new request?
this is new.
Okay. And then, is there a cost to this?
Do you have it?
What is it?
I thought I laid it
What are we
out.
looking at?
It was earlier than like when I first started. There should be enough for all of you. Because I made this.
What is this?
Yeah, I thought everybody had one when we.
I
Yeah.
know, yes,
one?
it's this one.
It is this
You
one.
might not have it.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's that one.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
So I think that information is on page 2.
Page 2.
And it's essentially time and expense not to exceed the values there.
Yep.
I mean, I guess 30,000 for Scope A and $16,000 for Scope B. So, but in order to have a TIF there, we have to have it done.
It's necessary. Yep.
Yeah.
Necessary. I motion to.
To To approve the agreement for Baker Tilly to complete the TIF analysis for the Third Road property.
I approve for Baker and Tilly to do the analysis for the Brown property.
Do we have a
for
second?
TIF.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
All right, and then the other item for them is not related to any specific project. It is, they're supposed to assist us with the fiscal plan. Is this part of the services that we've already approved at the beginning of the
Yes,
year?
it
If you
should be,
recall,
yes.
I think you guys, if I remember it right, the way to describe it would be you contributed towards an overall.
Comprehensive financial plan.
Yeah, basically they just provide a certain block of services to us, and it's not a subscription, but basically just contribute an amount monthly to what they charge the town, and preparing the fiscal plan as part of
I remember
that. Last year, you had a fiscal plan that was prepared by me. This year, you may find out how far off I might have been on some of those numbers, which were somewhat educated guesses. But hopefully now we've got some more detail that we can put into it. If you recall, the fiscal plans were introduced new last year, and there wasn't really much to look at in terms of how to do them. So we did get some information from Baker Tilly last year. I'm curious to see what it looks like, but hopefully we'll be able to put it in the format that we had, because I thought that worked pretty well last year.
Have they done that already?
I think they're working on it.
They don't have it today.
We'll have it, no. I'm just letting you know, we don't need to approve any scope of
No,
work
I don't think
agreement
so,
for that.
because we've already done
So,
that. It's
but
just
that is, the
meeting.
idea was just that is coming, and we'll have to make certain that a project like that gets added into there. So I think there needs to be an opportunity for you guys to discuss what's in the report, and what's in there, what's not in there, what needs to be added, that sort of thing. So,
It's a lot easier to make plans when you know what's coming.
well, it isn't just, you're right. We need to be able to understand how much money is coming in, what you have on hand, and then start to look at what those expenses are. So, why don't we move on? The resolution is, that I presented on the, I have it mistitled, but it's actually 2025-4. It's the resolution of the Bremen Redevelopment Commission regarding certain tax increment revenues and other property to support the Bremen Growth Ready 2.0 project, okay? So this resolution basically explains to the state, well, does it actually go to the RDA, or is this going down to?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the State Indiana Economic Development Corporation and the Regional Development Authority for READY, we have to show them that we have the funds to do our match of the project. This is spread out over several years. Sean, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to explain about this resolution.
Yeah, I would say at a high level, you know, the town was, you know, awarded $3.737 million. Their guidelines require a local public match for that of the same amount or greater, 3.7. And so what we have done though is you take a look at what is the READY project as a whole, and there's also the housing commitments required to that. Well, there's certain infrastructure required for the housing. So if you take a look at, well, what all has been committed or contemplated as far as the READY project, well, it's really three different buckets. The first is the existing funds that have been expended for the Brown property that qualify. That's, you know, bucket number one. That's for reference to the resolution. And then the second, you know, bucket is what is that TIF that we just talked about, the Baker Tilly, that the project's going to generate. So a tax abatement or a TIF that's self-weighted the project is the second bucket. That's not out of pocket to the commission. In the third bucket, you know, you have assets, you have future TIF, and then you've got what's needed to create the infrastructure or additional cost of cash that you need kind of going on a going-forward basis. Well, there's a couple different expenditures. One is the purchase of the school property. You've got commitments already related to the John Pfeiffer, you know, development, and then extending the infrastructure down to the Third Road development piece. Those are all contemplated in here. And so if you take a look at and say those three buckets, that's what gets you the aggregate local match But to the extent those costs are less, or it's negotiated less, we're still well above the $3.7 million. So this just says basically, hey, you know, the redevelopment commission understands what the local match is, that these numbers match what's, you know, being submitted to the state required. But there's future public processes required to accommodate this. You may finance it, you may spread it over a period of years, there may be different, you know, costs associated with that. Those are to be determined, but this just gives the express intention saying, hey, we're gonna match the ready application to deliver the outcomes that were contemplated.
Gotcha. Essentially, everything we've already talked about to get this project moving forward
Right.
has been contemplated and constitutes this match without much fear that we're gonna fall short.
Yeah, we should be right there, probably above and beyond 3 million.
Yeah.
700,000.
So the
So
only
this
thing-
money will this grant money be awarded to us?
Yes, it's
Well, that
awarded.
makes that cost of that property a lot easier to swallow.
That's one of the things that, you know, we discussed in the
Yeah.
executive session, is that's one way to look at it. Now, we have to spend the money and then we get reimbursed, am I understanding
Yeah,
that
you
correctly?
spend the money on the trail, get reimbursed, so there's a
Right.
cash flow component to that. But then separately, then, you know, these infrastructure improvements,
Gotcha.
you know.
Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2-2025?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve. Resolution number 2-2025.
I second that.
First and a second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Discussion?
No discussion? No discussion?
Did you have something to discuss with
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, well, go ahead.
This is not all
Apologies.
inclusive, encompassing. The Piper property, I don't see that on here.
No, it is.
It is?
It includes the portions that are
Oh.
contemplating to be funded from the local match. It does not include the portions that would be covered by the Ready Grant. So there's some aspects that are covered by the Ready Grant, like some of the infrastructure, some of the trail, some of the components of the acquiring the right-of-way for the trail, which includes part of the Piper property.
So that's where that falls.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to jump the gun. Any other discussion on the resolution? Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and vote now again after?
Sure.
Mr. Stuckey.
Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2-2025?
It's actually 2025-4.
Yeah.
Oh, it's miss.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, we had it mislabeled, that's my fault. So
What is it again?
2025-4.
2025-4.
Roger that.
We have that corrected on the
Okay.
ones to be executed tonight.
Gotcha.
And we're gonna do this a little differently. I actually rigged it with all your signatures, yay, nay, abstain, or absent. So Mr. Tadich, I'll probably mark those before they work their way down the line, but I would like you to each sign this one. So,
We're on camera and we got legal signatures.
yeah. So,
All right. So do we have a motion to approve resolution number 225-4? 2025-4.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-4.
That is correct. 2025-4, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Right?
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
So we all sign this then.
Yep.
Yep.
Are you doing that?
Well,
Do that? You want me to do this?
No,
Two copies.
let's do the, this is gonna tread on Christina's territory. I'm about to hand off to Ms. Shear to explain the packet that she had, but I do wanna talk about the first easement. This was discussed in the executive session, and I would just ask that you give Keith and I the approval to engage in negotiations with the parameters that were discussed during the executive session to acquire that easement for the trail project.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve Keith and Tony negotiations for the previously discussed easement acquisition?
That's what we talked about earlier as far as.
Right.
Doug's
Right.
Okay, yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the easement, or give permission.
For negotiations for that
Negotiations for
easement?
the easement, yeah, agreement.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign?
All right, now I'll hand it over to Ms. Shear. So,
Good evening, Christina Scheer with Community Redevelopment Partners in regards to the Ready. Just have a couple items for you guys. In regards to the trail, we have secured easements with Clingy, Whitlock, and St. Paul's. Those are for acceptance, correct?
well, not all of them.
Oh, not Clingy, that's,
Whitlock and
And St. Paul's.
St. Paul's.
gotcha.
Yeah, so basically those have both been executed and essentially are ready for your approval. Christina, was there some change to the design on St. Paul's, or did that not happen? I guess I might have got confused at one point.
No, there's no change, we just
Okay.
we're finalizing the legal description of that,
Okay.
to match the same, but no change to the design.
Yeah.
And then, the school, we have the replat, drawings. This is, you guys have seen them before, this was nothing new, this is just the,
Before we go into that,
Yes.
can I just get them to vote to
oh,
approve?
yes, please.
So these would be basically the dedications, the donations of the easements from both the Whitlock and then from St. Paul's for the trail. So we had met with both of them, we have gone over them some time ago with them. We had just been kind of waiting for the right meeting to present them. In both cases, they were pretty happy with the project as it appears. Kind of fits St. Paul's. I think they view it as an opportunity to have a direct trail that keeps kids off the street if they're going over to the school. And then the Whitlock, actually, it's a fantastic asset to have running right past it. That's really a stroke of luck. So they think it's going to be great for their residents and with some new development they're going to be doing in the future, the near future here. So in both cases, they were happy to make that donation. So.
Any discussion on the easement agreements?
If you could approve them one at a time for me.
Sure.
So,
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the easement agreement number 03387 between the town of Bremen and St. Paul's?
I'll make a motion to approve the easement proposal, is it?
agreement.
The easement
The agreement,
Fine way to
the
call it,
gift,
yeah.
basically it's a gift, right? They gifted it to us, correct?
Effectively, yeah.
For St. Paul's.
For St. Paul. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. And do we have a motion to approve the easement agreement with the United Church Benevolent Society, which is
The Whitlock.
the Whitlock?
That's the entity that operates, actually, there's two of them over there. It's the same group of people for each one, but yes, they operate the Whitlock.
Okay.
So-
It's agreement number 2003-12-875. Do we have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve the agreement, 2003-12-875.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Thank you for that, Christine.
No, no problem.
So we'll move to the next one.
The next one is the school replat. Now, we had showed you guys the drawings. We did not have the finalized. The school board believe that it is on the school board for next month to approve this, but so we could go ahead and proceed with the planning commission as soon as we get the approval from the school board so that we could proceed forward. We'd ask that you guys approve the drawings and the application pending the school's approval of the replat.
So this is really an approval of the replat of the RDC side of the property.
Yes.
If the school rejects it, then we just go back to the drawing board. So
That's all this, right?
Yes, yeah, that's really putting the trail easement at the top, getting it prepared for future.
The change on the replat is basically the trail location.
Yes, adding the trail
properties.
easement at the top so that way that can be easily
Are we
sectioned
looking at
off.
this one?
Yes, that is the one that you are looking at this point in time. Mhm. As opposed to the 3 parcels, I believe that it was in currently when you guys bought it, this lumps it into one and then takes the trail off the top.
gotcha.
Okay. Any discussion? No. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the replat of the Third Road parcels as presented?
I motion to approve the replat as presented.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
A lot of rain today.
Yeah.
The last item I have for you guys is Dan Charner and Associates has been doing the survey and the design work for the Stock Street. Due to the preparing for the Third Road development with the Brown property site, this is to revise their contract to include water line, to revise the water lines now to service that, as well as to relocate it down to Marshall so that we can pick up the Whitlock as well. So the water lines will now pick up the Whitlock, go across, feed John's house, and then down and over to the Third Road property. So this would be,
That's a lot.
but we have to loop the water in order for the new property to be viable on both
Bring the
sides.
water from,
Not at the.
There's no town water that way.
No, it's a matter of the size. Berkey
Size.
Street, Stewart Street are both there, but the lines coming in are too small.
can we upgrade the lines from the main?
We've looked at this for quite some time.
JPR has done a study,
yeah.
so this is per their recommendation with the town folks as well, on what is needed to serve that property, as well, so.
So you're gonna wanna pipe in the new water line that they just put in to the school, right? So you wanna go from there?
Right through your front yard.
Down Bowen.
Well,
And
it's,
then
isn't
cut
it, it's
through.
gonna be on the east side of the street, not on the west. So.
Well, it's
that-
not in
Yes.
the middle of the street, again, like that was.
No, but it is gonna
Has to
be
connect there.
on the east side
Well,
of
they're gonna
the
have
street.
Run down the
I
side.
mean, there is no water line on Bowen Street. I mean,
Right, that's
going
taking it
toward
on.
Right.
Fur Road to.
Right, right. But
That's all
it's,
gonna have to be
but you
put in.
said through his front yard and that's
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
west
just
side.
right in front of his
So,
house.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
still.
so,
It's gonna be in front of the house.
But yes,
But
then
even
you could
if that's-
eventually
I don't care
keep the
about
water
that.
then.
Yeah.
So it has to go down from Grant Street down on the east side of Fur Road,
And then
which there'll be easement
forward.
there, and then it'll go across. But I think what they're saying is JPR is saying there has to be another loop that ties into that. Originally, they were coming down Baltimore and gonna go there. That may still be the case, but they're also studying now coming down Marshall and going around, so there's enough water pressure by having double connection. So ultimately, the JPR working with the town engineers will come to the conclusion, but this is just updates the contract with Danch, whatever they conclude, they can upgrade the drawings to include that, since we're already putting in infrastructure along that, on Stock Street. This just, adjusts it a little bit and allows it to service both components.
They're the professionals.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, this has been
this is
going
what
on
they-
for most of this year, I think, that they've been kicking that around, so.
So this is an agreement to provide the additional surveying and engineering services to,
To extend the water line
Yeah.
to include
Okay.
it for the ready.
Well, they're gonna
project.
need this before they do any construction on,
Yeah.
on the
Right.
project.
Yep.
So this will probably be starting soon.
Yeah.
Yes, no, yes, as soon as I can get it signed and get it into their hands, I'm gonna call them tomorrow and, well, we can start on the additional.
Good news, you could probably get town water now.
I'm still in the county. They're going all
It's gonna
around.
go right by your house, pretty much.
Pretty close, so it's gonna go right through me.
It will be available, but typically the town doesn't forcibly annex anybody. If they want the utilities and want to get annexed,
Oh, so
we'll
it
still
is-
be able to be annexed, so.
We could tap into it then.
Yeah,
So-
and we've already had one person who said they want in on the wastewater. But the nice thing about it, because each of you border the school's existing property, you're already contiguous, and we can do it kind of buffet style, not having to do the entire road all at once. We could take you each individually as you want to go. And that really, from the homeowner's perspective there, you wait till your septic or your well fails, and then you tie in, and it'll save them money, and you're not, doing it when you don't have to spend the money. So if you just got a new septic in, you don't have to do it.
Especially if you're getting water from the town, so you don't have well water.
I've got great well water.
Yeah.
38 feet below my septic tank.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
It's got
Well,
a taste.
It's nice to pay out in the country. Sometimes you gotta drink your own.
Drink the water.
But yeah, so no, this is just an expansion of your agreement with Danch to cover some services that weren't included
So
before.
sewer, they're gonna eventually run sewer the same way?
It's
Or they're
not,
gonna path to.
the current plan does not have sewer in it on that, because the sewer was, for that property, actually is gonna be on the west side, down in Berkey Extended. So now, once all the infrastructure is put in place, it could be possible to then tap into the new development, and then, gravity goes down toward the lift station.
Lift stations, yeah.
Other side. So, but that's not coming down for right now. That'll be after the rest development. It could be then jog-legged up to help.
Makes sense?
any discussion?
I think we just had it, thank you.
Okay. Do you have a motion to approve the additional surveying and engineering services contract with Danch as presented?
I motion to approve the additional services from Danch as presented.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you.
Before we move on, though, one last thing related to the Ready project. The amended and restated memorandum of understanding for the agreement with the Bremen Public Schools. So you may recall we entered into that agreement with the school last year to acquire some of their properties, and that's where we got into the Grant Street properties. And essentially, some of that has changed, and we have been working to negotiate an amendment, so it's called the amended and restated memorandum of understanding. So essentially what this does is it restructures the agreement. The redevelopment commission would no longer be acquiring the entire school parcel, just part of it. According to the replat, the parcels to the east, the baseball field obviously, and the bus garage would actually stay in the school's possession. You would acquire the other parcels though along the west side of theirs, along the east side of the Third Road property. The Stock Street property is actually going to stay in the redevelopment commission's possession, with the understanding that we'll enter into a lease with the school for use of that property. Starting off, the initial term I think is going to be just 5 years. don't have the lease together yet, but the way it's described here is that it would be a triple net basis, essentially meaning that it's not going to be at any cost to you. The rent, the school would pay the rent of $1 to lease that property. All we really are looking for from them is just insurance and indemnification, that if anything goes haywire, it'll be their expense and not necessarily ours. We're also not on the hook right now for improving it or anything like that. We'll have to talk to the school. I think the town, I expect, not the redevelopment commission, but the town may be able to help them with some equipment or something like that. But I have to admit, I'm really out of my element telling you what that would entail. So, but the idea would be to try to do this, cost effectively for the school, and it turns into some extra parking for them. I think they're pretty congested over there. So yeah, you are also though granting them a right of first refusal to acquire that property if you decided you were ever going to sell it at any point. We would go to the school first and see if we can get that to them. So. Yeah, essentially that is pretty much the split. I guess I should mention you are acquiring a right of first refusal on the southeastern parcel created by the new plat that the school still is going to retain. So yeah, if there's any questions about that, I can answer them. If there's any more serious questions, Sean probably can answer them instead of me. But it's just a trimmed down agreement. Certain sections get cut out. We're not doing the Grant Street properties, although I would still tell this body it's in the TIF area, and if the opportunity came to acquire properties there, it might be helpful, whether it's to the town, the school, whoever. I think it probably still makes sense in a long-term planning perspective. So yeah.
Okay. Discussion.
Not sure.
You're on.
I'm on. Yeah, I think I understand what's happening. We're leasing the property next to the parking lot for $1. Are there any restrictions on what we can do with that?
I think that'll be defined in the lease.
Okay.
I don't think that the redevelopment commission has any imminent plans for it, although theoretically someone might try to put some sheds on there at some point based on the conversation tonight. But as far as our purposes, no, I think it's best use at this point. I kind of assumed that you would agree with me when I had this conversation earlier today, was to let the school use it for parking.
And the replat of the easement, between my dad and myself, that is a road easement, a utility easement. It is.
I believe it's both. That's not part of this.
Oh, okay.
That was on the replat.
Right. Okay.
But it was originally put in, I think, as in your effectively subdivision when the area was platted. I believe it was designed as an access easement. So I read that document some months ago, but it may allow for utilities as well.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, never mind. It's done.
So we've got they've got a right of first refusal on that Stock Street property. We get a right, the right of first refusal on the southeastern
parcel. Yeah, there's a number
which is
to it,
lot
but I don't
4.
remember what it
Lot
is
4, I
off the top of my
guess.
head. Yeah.
Is that right? And the intention for that Stock Street property generally anyway was for the benefit of the school. I mean, that was our intention from the start, is for the.
I think it absolutely still makes sense to acquire it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? Okay, do we have a motion to accept, I guess, the amended and restated memorandum of understanding between the RDC and the school? Is that correct? Is that?
Yeah,
stated correctly?
you're approving that. We're obviously waiting on the school to approve it as well
Sure.
before it's executed, but.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended and restated memorandum of the school.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
I think that is everything that we had, so. No, I didn't say that it was the
Yeah, I
end
was
of the
gonna say, I
meeting.
think we got.
Mine won't be very much.
Gotta wait on the books here.
Yes.
Yep. So that is all I will consume your attention with tonight, so.
All right, so just really quick, just a few pieces of paper that you guys have in front of you. We've kind of talked about that this has never really been done before with the RDC, seeing a fund report, an appropriation report, an appropriation detail history report. So the fund report just goes through the end of,
I'm sorry, at the beginning of the meeting, I told Mike that those documents were not his, and I'm pretty sure.
I'm still shut out.
Well, I told him that I thought they were bills left over.
Oh, no,
So,
nope.
I'm sorry.
Nope, that's fine. So this is like essentially what every department gets every month.
Okay, I guess.
And so for the purpose of this meeting and just in general, your fund report with investments that shows your ending balance as far as the end of October, but your appropriation report and appropriation detail history is for the whole year. If you have any questions about, because obviously you can only have a little bit of the line on there of what has been paid out and things like that, I can definitely pull it up for you. The appropriation report, you will see some negative numbers on there, but that doesn't mean that the fund is negative by any means. That just means we did not appropriate appropriately for those funds. So that's something that I am going to be working with Baker Tilly with, and just a little bit with some of the talks that we've had too. Again, weren't sure how much things would cost, right? This is our first year through all of this stuff. So it's definitely can move money in between there, and that is fine. The other piece that I do have for you is that this is how I will have to, you guys have approved to pay for the SRO for 3 years. I have to do it as a reimbursement to the police department because you as an RDC cannot have an employee under you. So I have a breakdown of what it will be for quarter 3. So quarter 3 is July through September of what I will be reimbursing the police department for. Again, that's more of just an FYI. There are some other expenses that are through the appropriation detail history of things for the 13th officer. Like we've talked about, obviously the SRO is going to take his own vest. Like you're not gonna switch that kind of stuff out. So there are some things this year that are the additional costs of starting to support that. The car, things like that, that the SRO has taken with that position. So again, this is more just of an FYI. I assume that there'll be more questions as you guys dive into this a little bit. And it's new to you guys having these kinds of reports again, so.
We're hoping if we provide this information more regularly, along with some regular reports from Baker Tilly, where you can see forecasting year over year what's coming in, that'll make it easier to make some of these decisions on the shed project,
Right.
fire engine,
Right.
whatever. So, but I think it's time to start doing some better long-range planning. Like, I mean, literally 5 years out. What are you going to do in the next 5 years? That needs to be done. So. There's nothing you're asking.
No asking,
Good.
just
Yeah.
if you have any questions, I guess
It's
you might ask. So
Yeah,
it's more
thank you.
just an FYI, so.
I could use a copy sometime.
Oh, you should have had one over there.
I don't.
Okay, you can have Tony's then. Or you can take these too, it's fine. Or you can have these.
Keith, do you have anything?
I should be able to get you guys out of here in about another half hour. I have volume.
I'm good. You mad at me?
We're good.
Here's another one. Pass that to.
Okay.
What was the total amount reimbursed to the police department again?
For quarter three, it's for just the SRO's payroll and health insurance for quarter three is $16,246.68. If you want specifics on everything else, I can definitely do that. And like I said, the appropriation detail history gives you, you know, a little bit of different things throughout the year that have been paid towards
I
different
don't
things.
know where, I'm looking for it, I just, I can't find it.
Well, I see the I see the vehicle, right?
Right, the
It's on there on
vehicle,
page
there's some
5.
things for 13th officers, you know, he went to, back in June, he went to the, it would be under the admin is what you're looking for. So it is going to be the Bremen redevelopment admin, so it's on page 4. So not all of that is for the SRO
Kind
and
of spread it out.
the 13th man.
He said the negatives on the appropriation report are just overages that were above
Correct.
and beyond what was allocated
Correct,
for
it's
those
not necessarily like
services.
that fund is negative by any means, you know. Again, this is not my budget as far as, right, you know, this was developed in '24. I don't know when you guys developed it in '24, so this is not my budget. You know, we've looked at this, obviously, you know, there's some things, we can be better about it, and that's something that I need to work on with you guys and.
Well, my point would be more help for Baker Tilly this year and somebody who actually deals with this on a regular basis. Like, I put together that fiscal plan. I don't know how the budget was done through the clerk's office, but that fiscal plan was, like I said, some somewhat educated guesses from me. So I'm hoping that we'll get, but to be honest, there's a lot of things in here that we had never done before, so these
Sure.
are never gonna be, like, if we got it right, it would've been weird.
Sure.
Yeah,
So-
like with the Ready Grant and
Yeah,
just all
so
that different
I
things,
think this is
so.
gonna be informative this year, but hopefully we get better targets on everything going forward. So-
Thank you. You did a great job. Thank you very
Trying.
much.
And if you're looking for the payroll thing, I haven't done that yet, because I just literally, we just finished quarter three. That's September, and then just, you know, finishing, starting in October. So just trying to figure out how that all needs to be done too. I think there was a lot of questions to begin with, like, you know, can the RDC just pay it right out? And you can't do that. Like, you can't have an employee. So there's a lot of that to go with it too, that we are all learning together, so.
Well, between the two of you, you keep us legal.
What I understand, the SRO is working great.
Oh, you-
I mean, that's the feedback that I've got, right, that it's been a
Seen the
whole
car?
month. What's that?
Have you seen the
I did,
car?
I saw the
The
photos on,
graphics?
yeah, on the website today.
Triple.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Director, did you already
You got
make your
27
statement?
minutes.
I missed it, okay. Okay.
Public comment.
Am I missing anything else that's
Make a
on the?
motion to adjourn before I
Okay,
think
do we have a
something
motion to
else.
adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
I got, let me get this turned off.
Yeah, as well.